Okay, so it's a new year, so it's time for me to reassess financially where I am and where I want to be. So in today's video, I'm going to give 10 action items that I look at personally to try to improve my finances for the following year. Starting with number one, and this is setting monthly savings goals. This can be looked at kind of like it's almost like a budget, but it's like a reverse budget. So I'm not looking at what I'm spending necessarily, I'm looking at how much I'm saving instead. So I did this last year and it worked out great. I had monthly savings goal and then I had a yearly savings goal. And I met it. Yay me. Now to be honest, I guess you could say I kind of didn't meet it. I was $14 short after my last paycheck in December. So I did dip into my emergency fund and take out $14 and put it into my investment fund just so I could say I made that goal. But I'm gonna count it as a win because honestly that's close enough. So that's number one, monthly savings. And for this year, I've increased that by 20%. So 20% up from last year, which I know sounds like a lot, but the caveat is that I started my new job in June of last year. So this year I'll have this job the whole year and I make a little more. So that'll take care of a big portion of the 20%. My wife and I will also get small, maybe 2% raises, which is tiny, tiny, but it adds a little bit. And I'm going to go through the rest of this list and kind of button up how I'm going to save more money. And I'm going to say my favorite one until the very end, right? Number 10, because I want you to walk away with that one on your mind because it makes things seem a little more fun, I suppose, instead of just like monitor every dollar, which is not the goal here. Okay, let's do number two. Number two is a no spend month. So we're coming out of December, right? Everyone spends a lot of money on Christmas. I know I really go kind of bananas on that myself. I'm guilty of it. And for my family, it's a lot because we have Christmas, and then my daughter's birthday is 4 days later, and then my birthday is 4 days later. So we spend quite a bit of money right around that time of year. So I like to take January to kind of reset, right? Rebuild some of those accounts and get back onto not going on Amazon so much. Really, goodness, Amazon is taking all my money in December. All right, number three, less eating out. And this is a big one for us because my family and I do this a lot, you know. And if you have kids, I'm sure you can probably attest to this. I'm assuming I'm not the only one. Maybe I'm wrong. But my kids are in sports. You know, my daughter's doing cheerleading. My son is doing basketball. My daughter has ukulele practice on Mondays, so we stay late quite a bit, and it's just easier to grab something on the go, which adds up. It's expensive and it's super unhealthy. So for those two reasons, we're trying to cut back on that to save money and to obviously get healthier because it's not good for you to eat out 2 or 3 times a week. It's way too much. Number four is learning a skill. And for us, this kind of ties in with number three of less eating out. This year, we're going to focus on learning a skill of cooking so we can come home and cook our meals more and not go out as much. And when I say learn a skill, I'm not necessarily talking about, I imagine most people probably think when I say that to learn a skill to go get it monetized. But like I said with us for cooking, it can be to save money as well. So we're going to cook more to save money. I'm not selling the food. I'm just trying not to eat out as much. I've talked about in the past how I learned to cut my hair and my son's hair. So I save money by not going to the barber. I've learned basic car maintenance. So I save money there. So whatever skill you can do to kind of do things for yourself, one, it's better for you because it's good to constantly learn. But if it can save you money, that's more money that you can invest or use for something else. Number five is reviewing all our subscriptions. And we kind of fell off the wagon here too. We were doing pretty good for the year. Towards the end of the year, I just feel like there was a show on Peacock we had to see. There was a show on Hulu we had to see. There was a show on Apple we had to see. So our subscriptions are a little out of control right now. So January is our month to look at everything and then cancel the ones we really don't need. And we got to be honest with really don't need. Like, you know, if we watch something once a month, if that, like Apple TV, I think we barely ever watch that. So that's the first one getting cut. Number six is focusing on professional growth. And for me, this is easy. I work for a college, so I get free college. So I'll be getting my master's degree fully paid for. And the objective with that is obviously to qualify for higher paying jobs. Not saying I want to leave the job, but even if I stay in the job, that will qualify me to be an adjunct professor, which is more pay. And it's something I want to do. So I feel like it's foolish to turn down free college. But even if you don't have that at your job, I've worked many jobs, and all, if not, I want to say all of them had some kind of certification you could get or some kind of training that will be useful on a resume somewhere down the line. So focus on taking advantage of those. Number 7 is to plan ahead. And this might sound a little morbid, but if you realize how much money morticians and those people make because people throw money at them when there's a loss of a loved one, right? No one's thinking at that time about how to be fiscally responsible. They're just like, take care of it. I'm mourning right now. Here's all the money. But if you plan that ahead, while you have a clear mind and you're not stressed and sad about losing someone, you can save a lot of money. That was kind of morbid. I don't know why I thought of that first. On a more positive note, I guess for us, I'll use something like planning a trip. We do a lot of trips, and you definitely pay for convenience if you're on a trip. If you don't plan something ahead or you don't find a cheaper alternative, you're going to pay for the convenience of that, which is okay sometimes, right? Because it's part of the relaxation. But if you can avoid it by planning ahead a little bit, then I would say definitely take that approach. Number 8 is look over your tax withholdings. We did really well at this last year. We got $150 back from our taxes, which I'm happy with. Right? The goal is 0 because you shouldn't get a huge amount of money back from taxes. I know it feels great when you get it back. Right? When you file taxes and you say, I'm getting X amount back, you feel excited. But no, that really just means you gave the government a loan for that entire year, and that money worked for the government and not for you. Where instead you could have gotten that money every paycheck or every month, and you could have invested and benefited from the growth of that money. So again, the objective is to get to 0. Talk to a CPA, look over your tax withholdings, but please don't celebrate getting back a large amount. That's not the goal. Number 9 is say no to name brand clothing. I know that's not even what I mean. It's okay to wear name brand clothing. I'm wearing an Under Armour hoodie right now. I did get it on discount though. But I'm never going to pay full price for name brand clothing. And I'm going to give the example. We just finished Christmas, right? My son is a teenager. He loves Jordan sneakers. Jordan 11s came out. They're $200 for a pair of shoes, which I'm like, man, that's come a long way since I was a teenager. But I also went to the Nike outlet, and I was able to get him 6 pair of Jordans for 120 euros. So it's like $130, $140 somewhere in there. Anyway, way cheaper than the 1 pair of Jordan 11s. And I understand that even though they're the same brand, right, they're the same quality, no one is going to ooh and ah at those because they're not the Jordan 11s that just came out. But am I going to pay that extra amount to get the ooh and ahs from people for what other people think? I'm not. I'm way too old for that. I understand he's a teenager, so I give in a little bit to him once in a while. But that's not for me. And number 10, the one that I said is going to be fun, and it is fun, is finding what you value, you and your family, and what's important to you to spend money on. Like I said, for us, travel is important. So it's okay for us to spend there. All right. I can loosen up the reins a little bit, and we can spend on those things. The travel for us, getting healthy is important for the year. So we're going to spend a little more money on buying fruits and vegetables and healthier foods, and experiences, which I guess you can kind of tie into travel. But those are things we value. So those are things we're going to spend money on. So I hope this was helpful. If you take anything away or if you have anything to add, please let me know below, and I'll see you next week.